Hey everybody, it's Monday. Yay, say it's Monday down below. Woohoo, we love Mondays. Time for the Monday motivation video. I hope that you guys are setting yourself up for a great week, and I want to give you some little nuggets of advice or wisdom or insight to help you have even a better and more effective week. So I asked you guys last week in the group what you want me to talk about on today's video. And when I ask this, definitely share something with me. I mean, I can talk and talk and talk. I have no problem coming up with a lot of different concepts and so many ideas because they are just never ending in this category of mindset. But when I ask you that, let me know. I really want to know what you're thinking, what you're struggling with, and things that will help you. So I want to specifically read two of the comments from last week's post, and they kind of relate to each other. One was from Gloria. She said, when I asked, what do you want me to talk about in Monday's video? She said, the process of honing in on your professional identity. And then Amy after that said, owning who you are, not apologizing for being gifted or skilled, and not being ashamed of areas of where growth and wisdom are needed, a balanced ownership of our identity. So those are two of the comments. They're actually kind of related to each other, which is why I wanted to call them out. So thanks, Gloria. Thanks, Amy. Really appreciate your input. Let me talk a little bit about this area, and it's something that we can definitely dive into in detail later. But a few things to think about. First of all, when you think about how to give the world your professional identity, how to tell the world who you are, how to communicate in an area of business or whatever, what am I bringing to the world? This is something that I call the personal brand, and it's really important. We talk about what is it that you do, what do you do well, how do you communicate to employers or employees who you are, and it comes down to identifying your personal brand. Personal brand is much like what a commercial brand is. So when you come in contact with a brand that you love, for example, Chick-fil-A, right? That's a brand this house loves. What does that brand promise to you? What do you expect to experience every time you interact with that brand? Pick another brand that you know well. Maybe a soda that people drink, even though I'm anti-soda, but they've spent a lot of money branding that, and you sort of have an idea what your experience will be when you interact with that brand. Think about the brands that you love in your life. They communicate well what they're going to deliver to you. They communicate well who they are, and if they're successful, they make choices to stay on that brand and on that message all the time. So when it comes to a personal brand, you need to do the same thing. Now, in my book, I wrote about this in chapter 6, in the chapter called Understanding Influence. And I actually take you through exercises to understand how to build your personal brand. And why is this important? Well, Gloria's question was honing in on your professional identity. That is really your brand. And Amy's question was, how are you to own who you are and not apologize for your strengths? Your strengths need to be reflected in your brand. And I talked a few weeks ago about being authentic to yourself and not apologizing for the strengths that you have, because those strengths are actually what sets you apart. And if you're not willing or able to embrace those and put them out in the world, then you'll stagnate. But the way that we do that is through serving others. Our personal brand, our personal identity, as Gloria calls it, our professional identity, is really about how our gifts and the talents we've developed serve others better. Because everything we do has to be about serving others. So you need to think about the qualities, the talents, the gifts that you have in the framework of how you're serving other people. So an example of that would be me and my personal brand, which is empowering people to conquer limiting beliefs and pursue their purpose, right? And I say it on my website. I say it everywhere I go, that I want you to walk in your purpose. I want you to embrace your gifting so you can transform your world. I want you to conquer your limiting beliefs. It's serving people, but it's also playing on the strengths of how I am built and who I am and my experiences and my particular gifts and talents. So you think about it as it relates to serving others. So if you look at chapter 6, it asks you questions about things to consider as you meditate on what your personal brand is and how you want to deliver your gifts and talents to the world. And when you talk about, Amy, the question about how do you not apologize for those, because you see them in the framework of serving other people. You're not going to apologize when you're changing people's lives. And you can do that even in a job where it seems like, okay, so you can say to me, you're empowering people to conquer limiting beliefs and pursue their purpose, but I'm sitting at a desk job. How is that changing lives? It's always changing lives. If you're doing what you do well, if you're serving people well, you will have an impact on someone. And whatever position you're at, whatever profession you're at, whatever stage of your life, if you don't even feel like you're in purpose yet, always deliver your best in a way that serves others, and you will start to see yourself move forward. It is a way to think that is very entrepreneurial. It is a way to think on your job or in your business that will actually catapult you ahead. So even if you don't feel like you're in your ultimate purpose, still describe who you are and the gifts that you bring in a way that serves others. Some of the questions to think about. What 3 or 4 keywords describe your essential qualities or strengths quickly and clearly? What is your essence factor, the core of who you are? What is your authority factor, the knowledge that you hold and the skills that you possess? What is your superstar factor, the qualities that set you apart? What are the top values that you want people to recognize in you? These are all things that brands ask themselves. You should ask yourself that so you can communicate to the world. Also, when you know these things, it helps you make good decisions about where to go next in your career or what things you should take on, whether or not they fit you. So knowing this, knowing yourself better will help you make good decisions, will help you communicate to others who you are so they understand where you're coming from, and help you embrace the God-given talents and qualities that make you a superstar, because everybody has them. But unfortunately, we are taught by life experiences to shrink from them, to shrink from the power that's inside of us. And that is what I have to encourage you to fight against. So one of the ways that you do that is to define your brand, to define who you are, to define where you are right now in life and how you're serving others in a way that makes you embrace the strength inside of you and not shrink from it. And even within that, Amy brings up a good point. We always have areas of growth that we need to work on, always. That will always be the case. So we don't want to have hubris where we act as though we don't have that, but we do want strength about what it is that sets us apart. That's how we impact our world. So stop hiding, go out there, tell the world who you are, be clear about it, be humble. Being humble is actually telling the truth. When I say be humble, I don't mean, this is what I do, but I'm not that great or I'm whatever. No. Being humble is telling the truth, actually. Hubris is living by a lie. Being humble is telling the truth about who you are and being strong about it. So just some quick ideas for you. These are exercises that you can do. Everything like that is in the book. Maybe we'll do something on this specific in the future, but I want this to get you thinking about who am I? What are my strengths? And how can I stand in them, be proud of them, speak about them in a way that serves more people, in a way that doesn't make me feel like I need to hide or I need to dumb myself down, as we talked about in a previous video. So guys, have a great week. I hope that gives you some good ideas. Go out there and be your best authentic self. And we'll talk to you soon and see you online. Thanks.